Video games are expensive. Now that I'm buying more games than ever, my bank account is hurting. I'm trying my best to save some money, but I also want to buy games to play. So I've gathered a lot of knowledge on the best places to buy games. Yo, what's up? My name's Teirable, and today I'm here to show you the best ways to buy video games. The first thing I want to talk about today is retro video game stores. And I'm using the word stores very loosely. Now, finding a good retro video game store is very dependent on where you live. Me personally, I don't have one near me, but I've heard some of the people that I've talked to have found a good one. Just check online, just see like retro video game store, maybe check if they're like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from you, check the prices. I think most retro game stores use price charting. They're just looking up recent sales online and they're pricing their games that way. It's a fine way to get retro games, or any video game really. They probably have newer games as well. The big upside to this is that you can see what condition the game is when you buy it. You know, if it has like the manual, you know, if it's all busted up or not. Another plus with that is that you can also sell games to them. They'll typically take games as long as they're not just like trash and give you some money or credit, and you can use that to buy more games. Like for me, I have a few RPGs I've been wanting to sell. A few games I have doubles up or that I want to upgrade to like a better copy of. And that's a way to get store credit to maybe buy something you actually want. Next, there is Goodwill or equivalent. A Goodwill is typically just a place where people just drop off loads of items. Sometimes you can find deals for video games, but this is the most heavy caveat, is that it's so saturated. Like everyone knows that you can find some good deals in Goodwill, and they'll just swarm there and just take all the good stuff. It's really hard to actually find something good in a Goodwill, but it is possible. If you really are looking for something, you have free time, you have a Goodwill next to you, you just want to go there like, oh, I'm after work, I'm going to go to Goodwill, see what they got. You know, usually they have like a glass case with some games in it or something, or maybe on a shelf somewhere, and you can see if there's anything worth it. Now, they're not like the pristine collector grade copies of some of these games people are looking for, but if you're on a budget and you have a Goodwill or some sort of thrift store near you, it's not the worst way. On that same note, a good way to find games is yard sales. Now, big caveat, people make livings off of buying yard sales and reselling them. So you definitely won't be the only person going to these yard sales unless you're just not a very high traffic place for games maybe. But you know, you see a yard sale, maybe you go down, see what's up, be like, hey yo, you got any games? They say no, whatever. They say yes, see what they got. This is probably as random as Goodwill. You really don't know what you're gonna find. Maybe you find just like a $400 game that they want to sell to you for $20, or maybe you find like 8 copies of Madden. I know some places out and about, they'll have like giant areas where you have like a yard sales of like 20 people and just kind of go around searching. Could find something decent. You usually have to go pretty early if you want the best deals, but it really is just random. You just gotta know what's worth it, what's not. Now, the next place to find games is video game conventions. Now, this is a bit different than the past few things I've talked about. Usually, you go to a video game convention to find a specific thing, maybe. I mean, when I'm in like the grand context of a convention, it's just like a bunch of sellers. They have all like their hit items. You probably want something there, but you're paying a premium for like a good copy of it. If you have a little extra money, it might be good to go there. I mean, maybe you could sell something, get a better deal, kind of like the retro video game store. It's like, oh, I really don't want this like $40 game. Maybe I can get, $25 credit, work it towards something else, get like a higher ticket item that's maybe like $80, They just have a lot more stock, and they might be willing to give you a deal if you can talk them down, especially if you're a friendly person. And I would just say it depends. You might be able to find a great deal. There's always the chance, people buy their like early passes. They buy up all the good stuff, all the good deals, and then you're left with the scraps. And this next place, I'm tired of doing caveats, but heavy caveat is GameStop. So GameStop does have newer games, not what I would consider a retro video game store, but they do have like a retro section, and I've actually seen some people that I know find some pretty heavy, good hits in like very good condition in GameStop. But me personally, literally all of the GameStops near me have closed down. They have no traffic at all. I go in there, I'm depressed, okay? I found maybe 2 good games in the past 2 years. I bought like Sakura Wars for the PS4. That was a pretty good deal on that. I think I bought Tactics Ogre, the Reborn edition. I think I bought like maybe the Mega Man X Legacy Collection for like a decent deal. You could find stuff. A lot of it's just like cookie cutter, like what the people don't want. They don't have a lot of big hits in GameStop from what I've seen. But specifically if you have like a retro GameStop at your location, maybe it'd be a good idea to check like their PS2 games, see what they got in stock. You might be able to find a good deal there. I've personally seen people that I know online get good deals there, but heaviest caveat that sometimes they're just absolute garbage and it's a waste of time. Now it's time to go to my next category, online video game retailers. Essentially just places online where you can buy items, get them shipped to you. The first place, and my honest go-to, is Video Games Plus. I think they run out of Canada. I think they actually have a store, but I just order online. So Video Games Plus is kind of a unique store. I find that most of the games there are cheaper than I can buy in the US. VGP is pretty specific. They have a lot of limited releases, which is nice. They have like some limited run, some like red art games. I could probably name a few more if I type in this website real fast. They have like Fangamer stuff, Lost and Called, I Am 8-Bit, a bunch of limited releases. And it's just a good place to check when a limited release drops, and you can probably get yourself a copy. Some of the stuff definitely goes out of stock really fast. You have to be looking for it. But overall, I feel like since I've swapped to VGP, specifically for some like newer releases, I've saved a ton of money. It's honestly one of the biggest like revelations of my game collecting, so to speak. The next website in this same category is PNP Games, which I think is also in Canada. This is like my second pick, I would say. They typically have a lot of the same games VGP would have, a lot of the same limited releases. For the most part, you might be missing a few things here and there. But they get a lot of new games. It's typically discounted maybe like $5 to what it is in the US. They're practically the same, practically. I really haven't had a bad issue with this website either, but it's typically my second look. You know, I'll typically go to VGP first, then PNP if I'm looking for a specific thing before I go diving on like the online marketplaces. Next store I want to talk about is kind of just an idea and not really a specific store, but limited release stores. So there's a lot of them. I think the most common, well-known limited release store is Limited Run Games. Love them or hate them, Limited Run is releasing games that normally wouldn't get a physical release. Yeah, sucks. But sometimes, specifically Limited Run has their own section where they have in-stock games that you can get some deals on. I think it's called The Vault, the LR Vault. So if you don't mind the wait, I'm not sure if it's always a year. I have never actually bought anything directly from Limited Run, but I do have a lot of Limited Run games that I bought from VGP. I'm not sure how long the wait is on that. Maybe it could be less, could be more than a year. But if you're willing to wait the time, you can get a lot of these Limited Run games for like $40, and they'll go up in price almost always, especially if they're interesting games. I would say get early on the Limited Run games, because if you don't, then they're just going to be scalped to hell and increased priced. I'll say this applies to like most other limited game stores. This is more speculative than like actually saving money. I guess in theory, if you bought it now, you'd save money in the future. I don't know. Yeah. Another good place to buy video games is Best Buy or equivalent. There's a lot of them where you could just like, oh, this is a store that sells electronics, or this is just a store in general that has a video game section. Like there's Best Buy, Target, Walmart, yada yada. They have them everywhere in the world. Best Buy specifically for me has been pretty good. Best Buy typically if you're a good boy, will give you like a $5 to $10 coupon every like so many months, and I use that to buy games sometimes. But it's good because just like some of these retail stores will just have online like flash sales sometimes. Same thing with like Amazon. It's just like having an eye out for stuff you want and just checking all the online places to see if they have it. Like for me, recently I bought a Dredge Complete Edition. I could not find Dredge anywhere. Specifically the Complete Edition for like under $50, and Best Buy just had like a $30 sealed copy, and I was like, okay, cool. Bought that. Felt pretty good about myself. Another good thing about Best Buy is just if you really want to pre-order a game, I feel like they ship faster than stuff like Amazon does. Like I've never pre-ordered from Amazon and it ended up well. It's always like 6 days late, and Best Buy is like, oh, we'll get it to you in 2 days. You're not getting day of, but you know, if you really want to play a new game, you could buy it and get it in a few days. I don't buy new games often. I'll typically wait for them to go on sale, but you know, if there's a new game you really want, Best Buy isn't the worst. Another good online retailer is PlayAsia. Now, this one's a bit different. So PlayAsia typically has like Japanese, Korea, Chinese versions of games, but they'll also have PEGI, like European copies of games. And a lot of the time in the descriptions of the games, they'll say if it has like an English translation packed in with the game. So I specifically use PlayAsia as a means to get rare games in a foreign edition. So for example, I recently bought Trails Through Daybreak 1 and 2 using like the PEGI version. Now, I think at the time, one of them was going for like over $100, and I was like, damn, I can't do that. And one of them was going for like 70. I'm not going to go like super specific in the prices, but both of these I got for like $50 using the PEGI version, and none of the DLC for these games really matters. Like there's no story DLC, so I felt pretty confident buying these European copies. If you're wondering what I mean, it's because if you have an English PS5 in my case, DLC for a PEGI game will not work. You have to like rebuy it or have like a European PSN account or whatever. And there's a lot of times where I want to buy like a game that only has like a Japanese version but has English. Case for this is my Corpse Party Tetralogy. It was going to have an English version at one point, but that got canceled for whatever reason. And the only version that's available is the Japanese one, but the Japanese version has English, so that's like the only way to play it. There's like a lot of shoot 'em ups that have Japanese only releases. There's a lot of just like indie games. PlayAsia has their own specific section of like, oh, these are PlayAsia exclusive games. They have a really good selection of specifically Asian games that have English. If you're into that, amazing place. I will say that sometimes the shipping can take quite long. I mean, it's coming from Japan, I think, somewhere. Okay, now on to the next category, online marketplaces. Now, this is a bit different than just video game retailers. They're not stores specifically, but they're just places where you can buy used games online. And the most well-known example, I would say, is eBay. In my career, I probably bought the most games on eBay compared to anywhere else, and there's no real second to this. eBay is just a place where people will just put a ton of everything. If it exists, it's probably on eBay somewhere. I recently bought Inscription for the PS5, and at the time when I bought it, there was one copy on eBay of the normal edition. And I could go on. I've gotten a lot of good deals from eBay. A lot of times, if you like save a game to your wish list in eBay, a person will be like, "Hey, I saw you saved this game. Here's like a 5% or 10% discount." But a lot of time, people will let you like send an offer on eBay, and you can use that to even save more money. So like, oh, like I would like this game like $10 cheaper. And if they accept, like, cool, you get a good deal. Maybe they just want to get rid of it. If not, sometimes they'll send you like a counter offer, so you get like $7 off or whatever. And then if not, you don't have to buy the game at that point if that's not the amount you're comfortable buying with. I bought in so many games on eBay, man. Recently bought System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Edition for the PS5. It's another kind of like collector game. Yeah, that one also had like one copy on eBay. I checked like a bunch of the other online marketplaces that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, and just none of them had them. I bought a copy of Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, another game I couldn't really find anywhere. Even if you can find the game other places, I typically find the best deals on eBay. Next, I'm going to talk about Mercari. It's typically my second choice when I'm looking for something rare or like something retro. I just feel like there's not a lot of people on there compared to eBay, so your mileage may vary, but if I'm looking for something rare, there is some instances where I've seen a game like $20 cheaper on Mercari compared to eBay. And it's just a good one to have in your pocket. I feel like most things I said about eBay can be said about Mercari. I feel like when I buy from Mercari, a lot of the times it's like some guy who doesn't actually really sell games. He's just selling one game, and I just get a good deal on it. I bought The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4 on Mercari. That game can be quite expensive. I think I got it like $30 cheaper than like the next highest. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about it, but it is a solid place just to look for games. I feel like generally the games are a little bit more expensive, but it's just like a second pool of games to look through. The next online marketplace I want to talk about is GameFly. So GameFly is typically a service where you can rent games. They'll just like ship it to you. And that is like a decent way to play games if you don't like want a collection. But you can also buy games with them. Typically it's like a used copy. Like you're not really buying like new copies, I think. These are like copies that they send out. But from what I've been told from some of my friends that have bought from this is that they pretty much will always give you the case and the manual if it comes with that. Just another place to look. Now, the next online marketplace I would say is one of the best ones, but also like one of the most inconsistent, which is Facebook Marketplace. Now, I personally just refuse to use Facebook. Like, I just don't like the idea of Facebook Marketplace. But the people that use Facebook Marketplaces definitely get like the best deals on their games. Like I've seen some like insane, like, hey, if you come here in 20 minutes and you have the money, I'll give you this stack of games. And there's some like limited run games. Like they don't care. They just want money. If you're patient, if you're really, really patient, this is a very good way to find games. But there's no like good way to like look for them. It's more akin to like a yard sale than it is like an actual like online marketplace. It's just really inconsistent on knowing what you're finding, and you don't really get a lot of the time like a good picture of what you're getting. It's just like, oh, this is the stack you're getting. But if you're patient, you can find some insanely good deals on Facebook Marketplace. Now we're on the final place to find games, which is digital marketplaces. So not everyone buys games physically, and there's some games that I don't really care to own physically. A lot of times I'd rather play like an FPS on my computer, for example. Like I bought Stalker 2 on my PC, which I could have bought it on an Xbox if I owned one, I guess. And I would say the main place I buy online games, digital games, if you will, is Steam. Steam just is the stock standard place to buy digital games. They have like giant sales, like 4 times minimum per year, where they'll just have insane discounts on pretty much everything. If you wait long enough, you'll find an insane deal on a game. Like Witcher 3 for like $5 or something. If you're patient and you don't buy new games immediately, you can typically find it like a crazy deal in like 6 months, or some games even less than that. I've seen games going like 50% discount in 2 months sometimes, and it's crazy. That's probably the main place I play digital games. I also have a Steam Deck, so I kind of just use that like around the house and play my games on the go. Another good place to buy digital games is GOG, or Good Old Games. Now, this is the no DRM way to buy digital games. So, like, if you really want to own your games and not be online only, like Steam, you know, if they shut down and they, like, delete their app, you don't have the games anymore. Good Old Games gives you the game. You know, they give you, like, the downloader. They give you the installer. You know, you can move it from PC to PC, no problem. If you want no DRM, it's probably like the best and only way online to do this. But they have good deals. That's pretty much the only place that does this that I know of. Yeah, they have sales from time to time, some really good deals. They have a lot of like retro PC games, or like games they specifically port to work on PC, or like they'll fix a port or something. And I've never really had a bad issue with GOG. And next we're getting to like the tertiary video game places. The tertiary places where you can play games. There's a ton of them. Like there's Battle.net Blizzard has like whatever, like 10 games on it. You have like the Ubisoft player, which has the Ubisoft games. You have like EA, blah, blah, blah. I don't personally use them. You could probably find a game cheaper on there if you're really trying. I know there's like the Epic Game Store. They have sales as well. If you're in more of that Epic ecosystem, maybe the digital would work better for you. Personally, don't really use it. And if you really don't care if you have your games all in the same place, maybe you can go scrounging around on like those separate places to buy games, and you can buy games that way. Another good way to buy games is through key websites. Now, the legitimacy of these key websites is typically under fire. Like, I guess people don't really know where they get their keys from, like wholesale. Maybe there's something shady going on behind the scenes with these key websites. Like, I know there's a bunch of websites where you can just buy like a Steam account, like a specific Steam account with a game on it, which is kind of weird. But there's also websites where you can just buy CD keys and you can like input them into Steam, which is, I do that very rarely, and only on like publishers where I really don't care about their publishing specifically. I don't really care about giving them money. Typically, you could find like a new game like $10 off, $15 off sometimes if it's not that popular. And if you wait, you can find a lot of newer games on like Steam, very on sale. They must have a guy that's giving them the keys. Like, I don't, like, do they go to Steam like, hey, can we buy like these many keys for this much, and then whatever? Or do they talk to the developers, or like do certain regions get keys and they sell them to different regions? I honestly don't know how it works. I've used CD keys, or what's known as like loaded.com, and I've gotten some games like $10 off. I've never had a bad problem with it. I bought Starfield from one of those websites. I was like, this game might be trash. And guess what? Kind of was. So yeah, these were the best ways to buy video games. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more good places to buy video games, leave it down in the comments. I will respond to every comment. Buying games is very expensive right now. I'm trying to save money. It's kind of hard. I hope these places and all these things I've talked about will help you save some money. See ya!